And you know what time it is? It's time for KP's Video News.
Yep. After all this time.
KP's Video News.
Time for KP's Video News.
KP's Video News, y'all.
Missed y'all for a couple of days. I'm working on video 489. So I got 11 more videos to do after this, and I'll be up to 500. That's right, 500, folks. Anyway, I'm gonna dig right in, and I got some good news here. They got this guy that had been in prison, man, for 23 years, wrongfully convicted, accused of murder, and he has been exonerated. After 23 years in prison fighting to clear his name, and his name is Grant Williams, and he appeared in court Thursday in Staten Island, where his conviction was overturned for shooting dead another man in 1996. It came after 13 people provided new testimony that he could not have been the gunman, but one of those providing an alibi for Williams. After his exoneration, Williams was photographed outside hugging his now 30-year-old son, Antoine, who was only a toddler when he was sentenced to life. I used to tell everyone in prison I'm innocent, Williams said outside the court. And they'd say, "Oh, Williams, everybody says that." And I say, "I'm telling you the truth. One day you're going to see me on the news, and you'll find out that I was innocent." And Williams is the first person to ever win a wrongful conviction suit in Staten Island. And Judge Wayne Ozzie overturned Williams's conviction on Thursday, 2 years after he was paroled for his 1997 conviction of shooting dead Sadell Lewis. Mr. Williams, there's nothing I or anyone in this courtroom can say that can give you back all those years you were incarcerated, said Ozzie. It was a grave injustice to you. It's a shame that it took so long, and all I can do is wish you well in whatever you do from this day forward. Williams, a former Wu-Tang Klan record label employee, was charged in April 1996 for murdering Lewis. He had been shot dead by a gunman wearing a black jacket and who left a Wu-Tang Klan hat at the scene. After just 4 hours of investigation and input of just one eyewitness, police incorrectly identified Williams as the killer. The officer who chased the gunman gave physical description that didn't match Williams. The shooter's hat found at the scene was not DNA tested. There was no DNA evidence at all, or fingerprints, and Williams' alibi placed him at the Wu-Tang Klan studio. Among evidence used to convict Williams was his nickname. The cop's single witness told them that the shooter went by Boo Boo, which happened to be the same name that some friends called Williams, according to the report. I believe that once the police obtained an identification, they stopped investigating, Williams' attorney stated. And Williams petitioned the NYPD to test the hat for DNA evidence. In 2000, the department alleged it had been destroyed by its property clerk office. 2017, additional testimony gathered by Cohen and led the district attorney's office to reopen the investigation. 6 of them witnessed the shooting and told investigators that Williams was not the shooter. And an alibi witness told police that he had met up with Williams that evening at his mother's house on Silver Avenue in Staten Island before the pair drove to the Wu-Tang Klan recording studio, where they remained for the rest of the night with others. Additional witnesses who had not initially come forward were questioned, and this information was finally brought to the newly formed Conviction Integrity Unit, which determined after that identification procedures used by the police at the time were outdated. 13 witnesses were developed in total that were in his favor, said Assistant District Attorney Wanda de Oliveira stated. Even an alibi witness and a confirmation of the alibi as well. Outside the court on Thursday, Williams was joined by his family and his friend, Ghostface Killer of the Wu-Tang Klan crew. "I'm glad it's over now, It was like a ton of bricks just being lifted off, he stated, and everybody's joyful, and they all missed him, and he's been gone too long, 23 years. And they said when he left a part of me, it was never like, he was never really the same again. They said it was hurtful. I'm just glad I'm still alive, and he's still alive to make it back to see each other and reconnect and just move on. And Cohen intends to file 2 separate lawsuits on Williams' behalf, according to Law and Crime, seeking monetary damages over his client's decades of imprisonment. Telling you, it's crazy, man. Just some crazy stuff going on in the world, and I don't understand it. But you know, hey, stuff like that happens, and it happens all the time. So here we go. We got a police officer convicted. Got a police officer convicted in an inmate abuse case. Montgomery, Alabama, a one-time shift commander who supervised officers at an Alabama prison was convicted of letting another worker abuse a prisoner, prosecutor said. Willie Burks, 42 years old, was the 4th officer convicted on federal charges in the abuse which occurred at the Department of Corrections Elmore Prison. 3 other former officers pleaded guilty previously, and sentencing hearing was scheduled for November for Burks, who faces a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. He was convicted after the 3-day trial, and a statement from prosecutors said Burks watched a Sergeant Ulysses Oliver throw down an inmate and then kick, punch, and beat him with a baton. And so Burks, that's fair, Burks said at the end of the abuse, according to prosecutors, and Oliver turned himself in, but Burks ordered him to write a report that Burks had told him to stop in a cover-up. And Oliver pleaded guilty in the assault, which occurred in February 2019, and 2 other officers pleaded guilty to failing to intervene. So, you know, hey, that's, you know, we getting rid of them, getting rid of the bad ones, man, one by one. So, this is bad news right here, folks. 6 million renters face eviction in 8 days when the Trump-era ban expires, and Biden is poised to let it happen. And both the federal eviction ban and a moratorium on foreclosures expire in 8 days, and some advocates are pushing for an extension of the eviction ban as new virus cases pile up. The Biden administration is poised to allow both relief programs to expire on July 31st. But on July 31st, it said a pandemic relief for renters and homeowners enacted under Trump will end, and the Biden administration doesn't appear interested in renewing them. A federal eviction ban is ending on July 31st after the extension last month, and it's the same for a moratorium on foreclosures. But the Biden administration rolled out a new measure allowing homeowners to refinance their mortgages and cut monthly payments in an effort to aid 1.8 million Americans still in forbearance. Still, some groups are pushing for the White House to take more aggressive steps to prevent people from losing their homes. And on evictions, advocates say emergency measures threaten 6 million renters across the nation who are at risk of losing their homes at a moment new infections are rising, and federal programs to help them has been slow to provide rent relief. The CDC eviction moratorium is a necessary public health measure to lessen the spread of COVID-19. The president of National Low-Income Housing Coalitions recently stated the need clearly remains as Delta surges and 6 million renter households remain on rent and at risk of eviction when the moratorium expires. Paul Williams, a fellow of the Jane Family Institute, projected that 80% of all households struggling with rental debt were in counties experienced a surge of virus cases because of the Delta variant, letting county records and county courts kick people out onto the street next week is probably the worst Delta variant strategy I can think of. And around 11.4 renters, or 16% overall, have fallen behind on rent payments. An analysis of census data from the left-leaning Center on Budget and Policy Priorities found around 3 million people say they could be evicted within 2 months, and some courts ruled the ban unconstitutional earlier this year. Separately, the Biden administration is allowing homeowners to extend the length of their mortgages, and the White House said on Friday that homeowners with mortgages backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac can still delay their payments until September 30th. So we shall see how this works out. Man, it's not looking good, folks. It is not looking good. So, okay, here we go. We got a Great Britain sprinter that hits out at the Olympics ban on athletes protesting against racial inequality at the medal ceremonies. Dina Asher has hit out at the Tokyo Olympics for banning athletes from protesting at medal ceremonies. I see protesting as expressing yourself as a fundamental human right, she stated. Over 150 athletes and organizations have signed an open letter calling for the ban to be lifted. And Great Britain's Asher has hit out at the Tokyo Olympics for banning athletes from protesting at the medal ceremonies. The International Olympic Committee had previously banned any kind of protest at the games, but it relaxed its rules to allow protests before and after the events in July. Protests during the events, medal ceremonies at the Olympic Village remain banned. So therefore you can protest before the games and you can protest after the games, before and after the events. Protests must also not be targeted directly or indirectly against people, country, organizations, and or their dignity, and cannot be disrupted. If you were to penalize someone for standing up against racial inequality, how on earth would that go? How on earth are you going to enforce that? Sprinter Asher Smith told The Guardian. Would you revoke someone's medal for saying racism is wrong? And I see protesting and expressing yourself as a fundamental right. When people feel strongly about something, particularly when something that that's so close to your heart, and as a black woman, you know, you think about racism, I just can't police people's voice on that. It's an incredibly difficult thing to do. Like I stated before, over 150 athletes and sports organizations and human rights and social justice experts have now signed an open letter calling on the International Olympic Committee to lift sanctions on protesting in Tokyo completely. And among those that signed the petition are Tommy Smith and John Carlos. That's right, the black athletes and the black sprinters that gave the Black Power salute from the podium in the 1968 Mexico Olympics. Both athletes were expelled from the games for the gesture. And we do not believe the changes made reflect a commitment to freedom of expression as a fundamental human right, nor to racial and social justice in global sports, said the letter, which has been signed by the daughter of boxing legend Muhammad Ali, Layla. Staying neutral means staying silent, and staying silent means supporting ongoing injustice. That's right. So, having looked at that, you had earlier this week you had Maria Taylor. She stated she said farewell to ESPN. Fast forward a few days, and this just happened today. She just signed a new deal with NBC. That's right. So she left ESPN, and it really wasn't it was a terrible situation because Maria Taylor, which just happens to be a black woman, is a very good reporter on ESPN, and she was basically verbally attacked by one of her white counterparts, stating that Maria was a some kind of diversity hire, but you know, it's like, why would you even make a statement like that? So that particular person that made the statement against Maria, coincidentally, is still working for ESPN. I'm not going to even bother to mention her name. And so, you know, she made the stupid statement. Maria Taylor was still able to call the NBA Finals. She was still able to report the NBA Finals along with another young black reporter. I can't remember her name. And even after that, that same reporter that kept up all the confusion asked Chris Paul one of the dumbest questions that you could ever ask as a reporter after the finals. How does it feel to lose the finals? But she still has her job. Maria Taylor and ESPN, she was under the contract negotiations. They couldn't come to an agreement, so she decided to part ways with ESPN, and she just signed a contract today at NBC, and she will be covering the Olympics for NBC for the next couple of weeks. So, congratulations to Maria Taylor for landing a new job. Obviously, you are a good reporter and not a diversity hire, as you was as your ex counterpart stated that you were. And my last story here is about Naomi Osaka, and she lit the cauldron at the Olympic opening ceremony. She got a chance to light the torch. Well, the torch is already lit. She about got a chance to take the torch and light the cauldron at the Olympics. Same just like Muhammad Ali when he went up and lit the cauldron. And I didn't think she was actually going to the Olympics because the other day she said she wasn't going to go. Anyway, Naomi lit the famous Olympic cauldron at the ceremony in Tokyo, marking the official start of the postponed 2020 Olympic Games, wearing a red and white uniform, the color of Japan's flag. She is Japanese and black, and she also defeated Serena Williams I believe it was at Wimbledon last year, and was it the year before last? Either way, she's a great tennis player, and she had stated maybe a few weeks back that she didn't want to play in I don't know, it might have been the French Open or either Wimbledon. She didn't want to participate, and so she pulled out. Anyway, she was born in Japan to a Japanese mother and a Haitian father, and is representing her native country in the Olympics. And the athlete made the announcement, and she's been playing under the Japanese flag since she was 14 years old, and it was never a secret that I'm going to play for Japan during the Olympics. And it's like she's a pretty cool little girl, man. I mean, well, she's not, she's, how old is she now? I guess she's probably maybe about 18, 19, somewhere around there. Great tennis player. Well, 23. She's actually 23. Okay, so maybe she started when she was like 18, beat Serena when she was like 18. I can't remember exactly how old she was. But, hey, it's all good. So you got people in the United States, we're talking about where she should have played for America. Well, she grew up in Japan, so why should she choose to play tennis for America? So I don't understand, man. It's been some real crazy stuff going on. Anyway, she's been going through, catching a little flack from you know, the white news media here in the United States, man, you know, that first of all, she's Japanese, and second of all, she's black. And, well, first of all, she's black, and second of all, she's Japanese, however you want to look at it. And, you know, she's just a good tennis player. You know, she's a person. She's a human being and a good tennis player. And she has maybe a few things that she's working on. You know, you know, some things she said she was working on, some mental stability issues or whatever. Maybe she could be bipolar. She is. I'm just saying could be. But you know, she's young. She's 23 years old, man. How many people at 23 really have it all together? You know, some people have it together, but they don't have everything lined up in a row, man. So give her a chance. She's still young. Let her live her life, and let her do what she got to do to make things right. All right. KP Video News, folks. Peace.
KP Video News, y'all.
KP Video News, y'all.
It's time for what? KP Video News, y'all.
That's right, folks.
KP Video
KP Video News, y'all. You know what time it is. I've been doing this news here. 489 episodes. And, you know, hey, it is what it is, people.
It's time for the news. Time for the news.
KP's Video News, y'all. KP's Video News.